Sierra, come! Come here! Come here, come here, come here! Sierra, come! Come! Come here! Good girl! Come here! Come here! Come here! Come here, Kush! Give me a kiss! Give me a kiss! Good girl, come here! You're gonna help me out. Come here! Sit! Hi, my name is Sarah Manahan, and this is my dog Sierra. We are both very socially awkward, especially in front of a camera. She hates cameras as much as I do, but I have a huge love of books, and I've done a lot of takes, me doing this alone, and I can't do it without my dog apparently. Okay, so I want to be a part of BookTube. And so this is, I guess, the Newbie Book Tag. This is so weird. I feel like I'm just staring at a camera, which I am, but other people will see it. Okay, so I don't know who made this book tag, because there's like a bunch of different variations of it, I guess. But anyway, I found this one, and so question 1 is, where are you joining us from? I am from Canada, born and raised, never moved. I will be moving probably in August to go to Ottawa, and that will be my first move ever, which is exciting but also scary. And how old am I? Well, I'm 21, and on June 28th I will be 22. And the third question is, why did you join BookTube? And I've wanted to join BookTube for a while now, but I guess I kept putting things off, and I never really felt like I was ready, or I couldn't find like the audience, like who would ever watch me, and I always felt like I had something to say but never really knew how to get it out there and say it. And I've never been good in front of a camera, as you've seen. But I wanted to give it a shot, and hopefully it pans out for me. Who knows? So I'm kind of juggling around names for my channel. So number 4 is what's behind the channel name. And I think I might call it Sarah and Sierra, because there will be times where I can't talk in front of a camera naturally. And having my dog right beside me, she's not beside me now because she ran away, but she's still in the room with me. And just having her here while I was starting was able to just get me going. So one of the more important questions is question 5. What types of books do you read and want to talk about? So I read like a variety of books, but I mostly read fantasy. When I first started reading, I read young adult fiction, but nowadays I'm kind of not into it anymore. It's really childish to me, and a lot of the same stupid tropes are in them, and I usually can't sit down and enjoy it. However, I do read terrible books on purpose sometimes, just so, because I also want to be an author, and it's good to read shitty books so you kind of get a sense of what not to do. So I'll probably be ranting, reviewing a lot of not so great books, and not a lot of love that was put into it, just to make like a quick buck kind of thing. Anyway, next question. Question 6 is, who are some of your favorite authors? So it's usually in the fantasy genre again. However, starting outside of the fantasy genre, I really like Jandy Nelson. She hasn't made a lot of books yet. But the first book that I read by her, and the only book, is I'll Give You the Sun. That was a really interesting young adult book that I was just shocked of how good it was, because there's really not a lot of young adult fiction that I've ever read that I've thought, wow, that was really good. But that was probably one of the first ones. So I really like her as an author. I'm starting to like Scott Hawkins. He, as far as I know, he only has one novel, The Library at Mount Shar, and that's one of the novels I'll probably be showing in this video, I think. And he's just a very interesting and quirky author, I guess. I really like Stephen King. I find he's obviously a really, really talented author. He has a lot to bring to the table as far as obviously entertainment, but I really like to read his books just to analyze them, so I know like some of his story threads that actually worked and were executed well. That's something that I like to look at in his writing. And yeah, it just helps me figure out how to like structure stories and whatnot. And I really like Patrick Rothfuss. So I haven't really finished any of his books. However, The Name of the Wind book is probably my favorite, or one of my favorite books. The writing is it's just amazing, and like, it's very, I don't want to say it's flowery writing, it's more painterly. Kind of like I'll Give You the Sun, but in a more sophisticated kind of way. But yeah, like whenever I read that book, I linger on its pages. I read like other pages to people too, because like how well the words flow, it's hard to explain unless you actually read it yourself. I guess I do like George R.R. Martin. I've only read his Game of Thrones books. I'm on the Feast of Crows, so I haven't really like read anything else by him. And I'm looking at my bookshelf. But yeah, like I kind of like Dean Koontz as well, but yeah, that's pretty much the variety that I like. And I kind of like the Harry Potter books, but there are some things in those books I don't exactly like. It's just the writing style. It's not like any like the plot elements or anything. Anyway, moving on from that hefty question. Okay, so the next question is, what's the last book you read? And the last book I read, oh, what was it? So I have the third one, and it'll probably be the next book that I'll be reading after the book I'm currently reading. And so it's the second one to, I hope you can see that, to Beyond the Shadows by Brent Weeks, I think. Beyond the Shadows, yeah. So that's the last book that I read. I have a lot to say with his series, but I'm gonna wait for a later date, because usually when I want to review a book that's in a series, I like to read them all first and then give a long review. That's what I think I'm gonna be doing Like, that's how I think in my head, but I don't know if that's what I'm actually gonna do. But yeah, that's the last book I read. And then what I'm currently reading is Salem's Lot by Stephen King. And I think I'm gonna do a review on this. I started this, like, not really thinking of BookTube. Because when I decided to actually get the camera out and start doing BookTube, it was kind of like a whim, like, yes, I'm doing this kind of thing. So I never really, like, planned if I was gonna do a review on the book that I was currently reading. So I might. I really like this book. Like, it hasn't scared me. It's hard to scare me in novels, but it's really good. It keeps me thinking. So I may do a review on it, possibly. Okay, so the next question is, what do you use for bookmarks? So for a long time I didn't like using bookmarks. Just, I guess I was lazy. So I would just think I was smart enough to remember what page I'm on. But then I got into the habit of reading a lot of books at once. So then you kind of forget exactly where you left off in the story. So that was my problem. And then I decided to use bookmarks. And I didn't have any bookmarks at the time, so I just used Canadian Tire money. It's a very Canadian thing. So now I've been kind of collecting bookmarks, so I'm not so, I don't know, maybe hipster. That's not the right word. I don't know what the right word is, but I do use a feather for, so my current books that I'm actually reading, I use a feather, and then if I stop reading another book, I'll use like a traditional bookmark or Canadian Tire money if I'm out of bookmarks. But yeah, that was a little funny question that I was looking forward to answering. Okay, so the next question is to show my TBR pile. So after Salem's Lot, I will be reading Beyond the Shadows by Brent Weeks. In terms of doing a review on the book, like I said before, it's gonna be with the entire series, because with this series I definitely do not want to like talk about just the one book. I have to kind of talk about them all. But anyway, that's that one. And then the next one I recently picked up is All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. I can't really remember what this book is about, but I remember that I really liked it. The cover was nice too. It just... Oh, I remember! It had... Okay, so I picked it up because of the first sentence in the back cover. It says, an ancient society of witches and a hipster technological startup are going to war as the world tears itself apart. Sometimes I think of myself as a hipster, so when I read the back of the book, I was just like, I need to get it, kind of thing. But anyway, moving on. So, this one is a new one that I picked up too. Six of Crows. Who the fuck is it by? By Lee Bardugo. This has been talked a lot on BookTube. I wanted to read this because I'm not really into reading books that are really circulating. However, I wanted to read this one because of like the reviews it got. It got really good reviews. It is a young adult fiction. However, it just looked promising to me, I guess. I think that's why I picked it up. Okay, and then the next one is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, another young adult. So I'm trying to read a lot of the young adult fiction that I have, because there was a point in time where I was really into it. And young adult fiction, like a lot of people review them on BookTube as well, and I was kind of thinking of using them to kind of find a place on BookTube, because like all the other books aren't really talked about, which that is a reason why I wanted to do BookTube as well. To talk about books that aren't talked about a whole lot, and shit on books I really don't like. But yeah, we'll hit that road when we get there. Okay, and now the next book on my TBR is The Queen of the Tierling by Erica Johnson. So this book, it was on sale, so I got it. I did hear nice things, but I forget what booktuber it was. It was a booktuber I like. I can't remember. But they reviewed it, and they didn't like it that much. Just that they found it didn't really measure up to the hype, I guess, or what the novel was like giving you hopes for, I guess. But I'm still curious to see what it will be like. Anyway, so that's my TBR. I have a lot of books, so I just want to, like, with TBRs, I want to kind of put a small amount in it. That'll probably change, but we'll see when it progresses. Okay, for this question, it's, which do you prefer, hardcover or paperback? I don't really care unless I get a series that is in hardcover. They all have to be in hardcover kind of thing. Ebooks or physical books. I prefer physical books. Owning or borrowing books. I prefer owning books, and I also prefer keeping all of my books. So there probably won't be any unhaul videos on my channel. When I'm in my own house, because I live with my parents right now, but when I'm in my own house, in my future, I want my own library, so I don't want to give any of my books away, even if they're shit. Okay, what book or series got you into reading? Okay, so I was really looking forward to this question because, so I have this friend of mine that always tells me not to tell anybody what book got me into reading. However, it's kind of funny. It wasn't Harry Potter or anything, because for a long time I couldn't really read that well. When I was little, I used to kind of try reading books, but I couldn't really read, and I would kind of make up my own story while I was reading the books. But then there came a time where I actually could kind of read, and then I picked up this book, Twilight, by Stephanie Meyer. Everyone pretty much knows this novel. I was in grade 7 when it came out, and everyone was reading the book, and my mom really wanted to get me a book, and she kept getting me these shitty Heartland books, and I could never get into them. And then when this book came out, everyone was reading it, and I kind of wanted to see what it was all about. So my mom brought me to Kohl's, and I looked at this book, and I said I really wanted to get it, and my mom was just shocked because she couldn't understand why I wanted a book like this, because all the other books I was reading were very thin. But this one is very thick. And it was a very daunting task, However, I really wanted to get through it and kind of join the conversation that my classmates were talking about. And then I fell in love with it, and then I tried reading the rest of the series, and I stopped at the last one. New Moon really depressed me. Eclipse was okay, but Breaking Dawn, I was torturing myself, literally. It was horrible, and I only want to own Twilight. Nothing else in that series. And then it just kicked off from there, and now I'm on better novels, but I still read the shitty ones, so I can talk about them. Okay, so how did you discover BookTube? So the first booktuber that I discovered, I don't think they're a big channel. It is Lily C. Reads, I think. And I just thought it was cool. I thought she was like the only booktuber on YouTube. Then she was talking about that there's like a whole community, and I was mind blown. I didn't know there was this huge community, and then I pretty much watched whoever was on my recommended or whatever. And it just kicked off from there pretty much. So, what challenges do you think you'll face with your own channel? Talking in front of a camera successfully and not sounding like I'm fake or something. That will be a challenge. I'm hoping I've been able to get it in this video. However, I did do a lot of retakes. Attempts. Another thing is building an audience. I think it'll be hard, but it probably isn't. And like, I have a lot to say about books. But there's some books that I've read that are harder to review than others because I like to give really honest reviews, and I feel like if I can't give a book an extremely honest review, I probably won't review it until I get my bearings, I guess. Like, I don't like saying nothing about a book, like, that I liked it and that it was good, or like, if it just wasn't for me. I don't like saying that. I might actually say this on this channel. I hope not, because it's something I don't like. Because I believe, like, every book has something that you can say about it, and if you just, I don't know, it feels weird if you just don't talk about why you didn't like it, or why you really liked it, kind of thing. And it's to help other people as well. 'Cause, like, who knows, maybe an aspiring author is watching one of my reviews and is like, oh, okay, so this worked and didn't work for this novel. That's very helpful. That's kind of what I would do, watching reviews as well. So, there's that. I hope I won't run into too many problems on the way, but anyways. Where else can we find you? So, I have Twitter, I have Facebook, but those are more of my personal ones. I'm probably going to make new ones for this channel, probably called Sarah and Sierra, which is kind of funny because she's not with me right now. Hopefully she doesn't get too camera shy. Hopefully we grow together. But there's something I wanted to mention. This isn't a question on here. So I kind of compiled some books that I want to be able to talk about. So I talked earlier about The Library at Mount Char. I really want to talk about this book because it is very strange and weird. And I really hope that the author makes a sequel. It leaves off at a cliffhanger. But it also wraps up, but you know shit's gonna go down kind of thing. But I really want to review this book because it was really good. I really liked it. And I don't always want to talk about books that I didn't like and stuff. I will probably most definitely do a review on this. Not sure when. I'll have to probably reread it to give it a fair review. So that's in the future. Okay, and then the next book that I really want to review, I also talked about this one, is I'll Give You the Sun by Jenny Nelson, and that is very hard to see. Maybe if yeah, I got the weird copy. But yeah, so I really want to review this one because it's very artsy, and I also am an artist. I paint, I draw, I printmake, I do photography, obviously not on myself, for other people, and I do video as well. It's not as extensive as my other mediums, but I'm also getting into sculpting. Sierra! Come here! Come here, come here! Come here! Come here! Come here, girl! Give me a kiss! Give me a kiss! Yes, my girl. Come here! Come here, come here! Come here, come here, come here! Come here! Right here! What is that? What's that? Come here! Come here! Come here! Come on! Come on! Come on! Good girl! Give me a kiss. Good girl. Okay, so now stay. It's okay. No, stay with me! Stay! We're growing together. Give me another kiss. Give me another kiss. Thank you. Okay. Hopefully she stays. But, okay, this is gonna be a series that I want to cover. And I hated this series so much. So this will be a rant review. Stay. Good girl. And it is Crusade by, I think it's Nancy Halder and Debbie Vigwe. Where is it? Vigwe, yeah, I think. There's a glare. Hopefully you can see it. I have a lot to say about this series. It got progressively worse. It just made me very angry. And I really want to talk about it, because I don't think anyone's talking about how bad they were. But I want to be the one to talk about how bad they were, I guess. So, yeah, I guess that's it for now. And I'll catch you later in my next video, whenever that'll be. Catch you later, whoever's watching this. Give me a kiss! Good girl.